Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Feels so funky. Feels so funky.
Hello everybody and welcome to Cinematic for the People. It's episode 9, it's the 27th of June 2018. I'm one of your hosts, Alan Kerr. I'm joined as always by Andrew Craddock.
Hello, Alan. How are you, man?
Well, listeners may have heard the past few weeks we're bemoaning the intense heat. By God, it's back.
It's back with a vengeance.
It is. Do you know I have a wedding this Friday, a friend's wedding at Loch Lomond. And I'm seriously fearful for our well-being. It's going to be sweltering.
It'll be sweltering. Friday is the day
We're all
where it's
gonna
meant
end
to
up-
be 30, right?
We're all going to end up in the loch. Like,
Well, yeah, that wouldn't be a bad thing. It's not a bad place to be on a lovely day.
we're in a three-piece suit though.
Suits are usually pretty lightweight. No?
It's all so much going on.
Just keep the jacket on, man. Just after 5 minutes, you're not going to want to take that jacket off because it's going to be pretty evident
That was
that
my
your
thought as
shirt
well.
is
Like,
soaked through.
do I wear an undershirt to try and hide that, or is that just another item of clothing that's going to make me more hot?
Do you know, I think if you worry about this too much, you're going to get more hot anyway. I think you just got to chill, man.
Start worrying from start sweating from
Yeah,
worry.
literally the moment you start getting into your suit in the morning, you just start dripping with sweat. Like,
It's
yeah,
gonna
I don't-
happen. And I have to drive there as well with two other people in the car.
You might want to not just get dressed in the car park.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Don't actually do that.
Well,
People might see you.
I'll get dressed at the venue. I'll show up in my shorts and t-shirt.
Yeah, fair enough.
Then I'll make a hilarious joke about how that's what I'm wearing to the wedding.
Are you ushering or anything?
Nah, I'm just a spectator.
Very nice. Well, ushering would be a whole nother level of stress, so that's not something you want in this kind of heat. Scottish people don't deal well with these kind of temperatures. We enjoy them to an extent. I've been working on my tan this week, but by God, like, yeah, we could be doing with it in sort of shorter bursts.
So that's the weather update for
Yeah.
south side of Glasgow.
Yeah, see you next week, everyone.
How about you? How you doing?
Good, man, yeah. Just like I say, I've been working on my tan this week. What have I been doing? Caught up with my old friend Ruth, who is a listener to this podcast.
Hi, Ruth.
Hello, Ruth. We went to a Seinfeld even.
Seinfeld.
We went to a Seinfeld-themed vegan cafe in the West End of Glasgow that she introduced me to.
Strange thing.
Well, I kind of laughed when I went in because I was like, I looked around, I looked at the menu, they've got loads of things named after, famous Seinfeld episodes. Like I had a Summer of George smoothie, which was like a kale, blueberry and beetroot smoothie. It was actually really lovely, but all I could think about was Jerry, George, Elaine and Kramer would hate this place. They'd
Yeah.
be like, this is so ridiculous and hipster.
Yeah.
But it was lovely. The food was great. The staff were nice. Shout out to Serenity Now in the West End. Great name as well. So did a little of that. Yep.
Nice.
Watched some films, usual. Went to the Movies for Juniors thing with my little nephew that I was telling you about
Do you want
last
to talk
week.
about that now or later?
Whenever, later. But suffice to say, man, these little kids put the adult cinema going population to shame with their good behaviour.
Oh, that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
I guess they were all just enraptured by The Rock and
Yeah.
the beautiful scenery. So, the main topic of the show this week is going to be Ocean's 8, the kind of sequel spin-off,
Ocean's 8, the
that whole thing.
Yeah.
We'll also talk about what else we've been watching, whatever's in the news. Also, heads up, at some point in the episode, Andrew's getting something delivered.
Yeah.
So, I may leave the mics running. I may edit in a fun little break music or something.
Yeah, you have been warned. You may hear a loud ringing in the background. Place your bets now when that's going to happen.
So yeah, you've got that to look forward to. But on to the main meat of the show. Or should I say the lean meat of the show, depending on how long we talk about it for.
Yeah.
Ocean's 8. Let's hear the synopsis via Letterboxd.
Yeah. Let's hear the synopsis via Letterboxd. Where is the synopsis? There we
You're
go.
closing windows, you're opening
I
tabs.
get
What's
tabs
going on?
open all over the place here, man. Here we go. A nice short one this week.
Serenity now!
Debbie Ocean, a criminal mastermind, gathers a crew of 7 other female thieves to pull off the heist of the century at New York's annual Met Gala. End of synopsis.
Yeah,
It's
that's-
pretty,
that's a
succinct
brief
synopsis, yeah. Does the
Um,
trick.
You're no good, you're no good. The Met will be hosting its annual ball, and we are going to rob it. Lucky you. $16.5 million in each of your bank accounts 5 weeks from now.
That's a lot. They've got every inch of this place covered. This is the most sophisticated security in the world.
How long did it take you to figure all this out?
5 years, 8 months, and 12 days.
Why do you need to do this?
Because it's what I'm good at.
So, overall,
Uh-huh.
what were your thoughts on the movie?
This movie was like the very definition of fine. It was just fine. I thought it was an entertaining watch in parts, but also kind of cringeworthy in parts, where little bits were just sort of just the way that it was kind of put together wasn't really sitting with me in places, but it was never to the point where I was like, this is, rubbish, or this is crap. It was just fine. There's sort of some livelier moments throughout. There's I thought, a really entertaining heist sequence at the end, which was sort of worth the payoff, but I'd liked a lot more of it. But yeah, just try to see if I've made any particular notes. I mean, I said to you beforehand, I saw this like a week and a bit ago, because it came out super early in previews, so I went and saw it on the Monday, a week ago last Monday there.
Yeah, last episode you had seen it already?
I'd already seen it, and by God, I am struggling to remember any great detail. Yeah. What I'll tell you is I went out, came out of it fairly entertained and thought, yeah, that was a fine movie, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to have forgotten about this when Alan asked me what I thought about it. So what about you?
That saying it's the definition of fine is spot on. I thought we both gave it 3 stars.
Yeah.
And in my letterbox review, I made a point of saying how I didn't have much to say about it. Like it's fine. Like it's.
Yeah, you even put the end of your letterbox review. I guess that's okay now. Like bye.
Because I was just struggling to I like to write the reviews a bit longer, and I was struggling with this one.
Yeah, you're like a kid writing a book report. It's like, and the book was quite good. I thought also it had a thing. Okay, bye now. That's everything I have to say about it.
In conclusion, Ocean's 8 is a film of contrasts.
Yes. So yeah, you had a similar feeling to me then.
Yeah, I didn't get any cringeworthy stuff from it. I don't know what specifically you.
Yeah, I noticed you kind of picked up on that when I said it, and I don't know, I was kind of winging it with that. But there particularly with the editing and stuff, man, the way that it was put together, it was, for me, it felt like they were the director had let the scene run on longer than it ought to have, but the editor had been like, let's just rein this back in and just cut this, because maybe. It felt like kind of like Paul Feig Ghostbusters. I know I hate to draw that comparison so early on, and that he was like, be funny, do funny things, and then we'll just put it into the film. It felt like maybe they were kind of hanging on to scenes in the hope that something funny would happen, and then it was like, and cut, next scene. Like, so many scenes ended with people kind of having a wee chat, and then they'd go, yeah, wow. And then it would just cut, and then next scene, it's like, wow, there's a lot of awkward silences at the end of all the sequences. Yeah. I noticed it on a few occasions, man, and it was a problem that I had with the film, where people really didn't seem to have any chemistry for a lot of it.
Well, on that note, one of the major talking point about it is the cast. It has a pretty good cast all around.
Yeah, a robust female cast for sure.
But you didn't. I mean, we'll maybe touch on the whole, the very 2018-ness of it all, with the all female cast and all that sort of thing. We're going to talk about it a bit earlier. It's not a huge talking point, I suppose.
No.
But,
and I think it's good that the studio don't seem to have kind of gone down that route that Sony did with Ghostbusters, where they were like, if you don't like this movie, it means you hate all women. And it's like, I think both of us are actually saying we did quite like this movie. It's just we just don't have a great. We're maybe coming off super negative at the start, but we liked it well enough.
Yeah, it was. I enjoyed my time with it, but it will not stay with me in any way.
No.
But Sandra Bullock is the lead. I think she's very good. She's always dependable. She can carry a film. She's not quite as. I don't think. This is something I was trying to avoid, but it's kind of unavoidable. I would ideally not want to spend the whole time comparing it to Ocean's 11, but.
Okay, Soderbergh 11, Ocean's 11.
Yeah. But it invites that because it's it's very similar in its structure and its setup and stuff.
And the very nature of it is that it takes place in the same universe where she is the sister of now deceased Danny Ocean.
Or is he?
Yeah, or is he? I don't know, man. Like, I've never seen the Ocean's 11, 12, or 13.
What? The Ocean's 11, the Soderbergh one, is fantastic.
See, I'd be more, you know me, I'm into like older movies. I'd be more keen to see the original Sinatra one. Like, and you're like, no, there's no lasers in that. So, like,
I think there actually are lasers in Ocean's 11, like the Soderbergh one.
Even the Sinatra one. Yeah, there won't be a. I figured there are in this Soderbergh one that they have to jump over them to make sure they steal the thing.
From what I've seen of the original Rat Pack Ocean's 11, it has an absolute glacier pace, and there's a lot of men walking around, picking up phones, putting down the phones, walking to another place.
Sounds amazing.
Slapping a woman in the bum.
Perfect. This sounds like my kind of film.
But Sandy B, she's the lead.
Yeah.
I don't think she's. I mean, she's playing a different character than Danny Ocean, obviously, but I don't think she was as charismatic. And as kind of like, I don't know, cheeky, I suppose, as George Clooney.
It kind of felt like she was sleepwalking through a lot of it, man. Like, she's a good actress, and it when I was thinking back on it, I don't really know that I picked this up when I was watching it like so much, but I thought back on it, it's like something didn't sit well with me about her performance. It kind of felt like she was phoning it in a wee bit. Like, it didn't seem like she was really. There was no character there. Now, whether that's there's no character in the script to even sort of flesh out and develop, there's nothing for her to work with, possibly. It's hard to tell, but I don't know, man. It seemed to me like she'd had some, like, I know this is total hypothesis or whatever, but like, had she had like an altercation with somebody on the set, like even the director or one of the actors, and was like, you know what? Like, I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna. It felt like she was just kind of phoning in the performance. It was not up there with some of like her good performances.
Like, I thought the very beginning scene where she's like basically bullshitting to the parole officer, I thought that was played well.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But after that, she kind of, I don't know.
She had a kind of like, her eyes were glazed over, man. It was like she delivered every line with this kind of clinical, this monotonous delivery. But is that the character? Is that she's just trying to kind of have that emotional disconnect from it? You know,
like
because she is emotionally emotionally connected to the job. She's trying to sort of like portray the fact that she's not, because obviously we find out later that she does have certain emotional connections to it or attachments to it.
Kate Blanchett is also in it.
Yep. Oh, that is not even my delivery. That's just an alarm telling me to stop working.
All right.
And we're gonna have a fun podcast today with like 5 different interruptions.
Okay, so if you keep dragging home, that's not the delivery.
Yep. So if your bet was however many minutes, you are incorrect.
Who knows what other interruptions will occur?
So Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett.
Yeah. She was good. She was solid. I thought she was better than Sandra Bullock in it, but I like her more as an actress. She's my cup of tea.
This is what I wonder. Like, is my kind of inherent good feeling to all these characters just because I already quite like all the actresses? Because I think Kate Blanchett is also always great.
But she didn't have a lot to work with here.
But yeah, so like, are they just kind of relying on that of being like, well, you already like these people, so we don't have to write that deeper character for them.
It seems like the casting director did a really good job in getting big names. It's almost like, who do we cast? We cast the people who are big and who are well liked, rather than casting someone who's right for the role, because in a way the roles seemed kind of paper thin.
Mm-hmm. To be honest, that's kind of the case with Ocean's 11 as well. But like, I think it helps there that like, you kind of, like, George Clooney and Matt Damon and Brad Pitt are all friends.
Bad Brad Pitt.
They're all friends in real life. So that kind of comes through.
Sure, they have that instant chemistry right away, didn't they? Yeah. I didn't get the impression that Sandra Bullock and Kate Blanchett had ever hung out, like, away from the movies, like, away from the set. Like, so many of the characters, like, they didn't seem to have any connection at all. Again, it didn't diminish my enjoyment a huge amount, but I was just like, it never felt like I was like in there with all these people. Like, I suppose the way you're talking about with Ocean's 11, it almost felt like you were sort of a third party to like a relationship that these celebrities have on top of the fact that it's a film. Yeah. And I think that was part of the appeal of a sort of big ensemble like that, because like this is George Clooney, Brad Pitt, at like the heart of their powers, or the top of their powers, I should say. Yeah. So people were like interested in them purely as a sort of celebrity attraction as well.
Who else do we have? Rihanna,
Like,
who's actually totally fine in it.
she was good in it, man. Yeah, for considering like Rihanna is not generally great, she was in stuff that she's been in. I don't think she was good.
I thought
Playing the kinda
Aquafina was really good in it.
Who's this? Aquafina.
She was the
Constance.
Yes, Constance something or other. Constance Gardner. Well, I don't know what her name is.
Ah, yeah, she's been in Bad Neighbours too.
She's a hip hop artist.
Ah, okay.
But I thought she was good. I thought she had the most entertaining kind of role and character. Like she was like a street con artist.
Sure, she's the
Like
one
card
that's like
games and
making the
stuff.
guy follow the cards and stuff
Yeah,
like that on
yeah.
the street. Yeah,
Like she was good.
yeah, she did probably have the most fleshed out character in that regard. Like she actually had something like that was sort of an interesting backstory.
Who I really liked was Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah, she's cool. Like she played that role like well.
And what I like about this is that she's not playing like a spooky Tim Burton character.
Yeah,
And when she doesn't do that, she's really good. She's got a lot of range. Like
she can also play the spooky Tim Burton
Yeah,
character, but she's
but
done
she's-
it to
she's done
death.
it to
Yeah,
death.
yeah.
like even in Fight Club, which she's great in, she's still kind of a gothy weirdo.
Yeah, she plays that skittish character. That's
yeah.
her, isn't it? Yeah.
But in this, she's playing something different. And
Yeah.
like the first time I noticed this was in The King's Speech, actually, which she's great in. And
She
it's
played
not-
the Queen Mother, right?
Yeah, it's not a role that I would immediately have thought of her for. But
Sure.
She does it really well.
Yeah.
So it's good to see her stretching her legs. She plays an Irish kind of fading fashion designer.
Yeah, and also one who's in severe amounts of debt.
Yeah.
So they are able to recruit her to help with their scheme.
And she plays that well.
She does, yeah.
Anne Hathaway is, I guess, the Mark.
Yeah, the Mark. Yeah, you know,
Like not the I want to say villain
no.
because it's like
There's a few twists and turns with these films, as there always is, I suppose. I've not seen the Ocean's films that Soderbergh did. Did he do all of them, 11, 12, 13?
I couldn't say.
But I've not seen those, but I kind of know about them via osmosis, so I kind of know roughly
Yeah, like
how
that-
they're sort of set up.
And that Andy Garcia is both the Mark and the villain because
Sure.
there's a personal history between him and Danny Ocean.
Well, the Mark is really, if you want to say the Mark, it's supposed to be, I suppose, Sandra Bullock's ex-boyfriend, the art gallery
Yeah.
dealer. He's the one they're trying to pin things on,
But
but like they're not all privy to that. It's sort of like
Yeah.
her personal revenge.
um,
That storyline kind of worked well for me. Like I liked the fact that she was like out for revenge for him. You know, like hell hath no fury and all that.
with a lot of things in this movie, I don't think they follow through on it to like a dramatic end well enough. Like that's my biggest problem with it is that I never felt any real threat in this movie.
You mean like you never thought they were going to get caught by anyone? Or,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or like never felt like the plan was going to go wrong in a major way. Like it all just kind of happens
Yeah.
quite smoothly. There's like a little hiccup, then it's like almost instantly resolved, and then there's like a kind of reveal of like, oh, well, actually, we were also doing this all along. It's like, oh, okay, glad that worked out, and we didn't have to know about that and worry about that for the past half hour.
Yeah, it did seem like when the heist was going down, like they didn't have any real hiccups, like you say. I made a little note about that earlier on. Like it was a fun staging and stuff. The way that it was all revealed was interesting and it was engaging enough. But I think a little bit more of a focus on like the planning would have been more interesting. I know that they don't want to give away what they're going to do exactly, but they kind of give you little hints. But I think a little bit more of that, like of them working together to kind of figure out the problem.
Like what they should do is show you what their plan is and how they expect it to go, have it go wrong, and then see them deal with that on the fly.
Yeah, and then you still have the reveal like, oh, you thought we were only stealing this, we were also stealing all this as well, which, you know, it's just a pleasant little twist.
Yeah.
I think as well, like one or two more obstacles, like you say, to like pop up during the heist would not have been amiss. It would have added some more tension, but otherwise, again, like the way it played out, total kind of just popcorn enjoyment, and absolutely fine. There was a sort of inherent watchability to it.
Yeah.
You know, it could have gone on probably for another half hour or 45 minutes, and I'd have still just been like, fine. Like, this is fine. It's keeping my
I think the
attention.
heist itself could have done.
But agreed.
Put that extra half hour in the middle, not at the end.
Yeah, speaking of which, I don't know if you've made a note of this, but like after the heist, there is a good chunk devoted towards James Corden's character, which is a strange bit of
shows
casting.
up and he's like an insurance investigator.
He's got a little Clouseau to him, a little Inspector Clouseau there, but it's sort of like, just because you know who James Corden is, maybe you're making that assumption, but then he seems to just be sort of like a very competent insurance man. It's like, alright.
I don't know why they cast him in the role, though. Like,
quite distracting.
Yes, absolutely.
But I think he was alright in it.
Because, like, inherently I want to dislike James Corden.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he shows up and...
He's never done anything to me. What's he done to you, Alan?
He's just... He's irritating.
It's like he's just a bumbling fool.
He's so pleased with himself.
Yeah. He played, again though, like, every role in this movie was kind of played okay, because it was just like, what's my character? What's the twist? It's like, you're a competent insurance investigations man. Okay.
But, like, I think they should have cast him a bit older.
Sure.
Why not cast him as a woman as well? Like,
yeah, why anything?
why
why not have a female director? That's a strange one.
Because there's hardly any of them.
That's true, but I'm pretty sure for something like this, if the big focus wasn't really so much on that. I think if you're going to go down that argument, the Ghostbusters 2016 should have had a female director with all the vitriol that it came out with. But I've not really seen any of that kind of backlash with this film. You know, it's just been a sort of, it's not been marketed as like, this is the film that's like changing everything for women, which Ghostbusters was marketed as, and it wasn't that. It was ridiculous.
That's because, like you said, it was Sony's in charge of that, and they're terrible.
They are just the worst. They are the worst. And this didn't have that kind of cheap thing. There wasn't like a marketing campaign that cheapened this.
No.
It just felt like, here's a movie.
And also the movie itself, like, there's one reference to, like, the fact that they're all women, and it's like a kind of in-universe reasoning.
I liked it.
Yeah, it's fine, because it doesn't dwell on it. It's just like a quick throwaway thing.
But it's a nice way to explain like why they're doing it that way as well. And I think the line is like, because everyone expects us to be quiet or something.
Yeah, like because women never get noticed, and for once we don't want
to be noticed. That's the one. Yeah. It was a nice line.
Yeah. And then like, you know, like it's I don't know if it was necessarily for me, but my girlfriend quite enjoyed it. Like, it was all with all the glitz and glamour of it, like the equivalent of like seeing all the Ocean's guys walking in there and being all suave and cool in their tuxedos and stuff. Like, seeing these women like
go to the Met Gala all dressed up. Yeah, Kate Blanchett, of course, in her chef whites, because she's playing the undercover like nutritionist or something. Like seeing that stuff. I suppose that is their. Yeah, that all the kind of costumes and the Met Gala stuff, they are definitely targeting a specific audience there. Yeah. It's the same way, like, why did George Lucas put all those lovely costumes in the Phantom Menace? Like, try and get the females along. It's such what's the word? Not shallow, but
cynical.
So yeah, it's a sort of cynical way of doing it. Yeah. But like, there is definitely somebody in the marketing department going tick, tick.
I felt like that was kind of.
It worked though.
Like in this film, it was like there is that one shot after they've kind of done it all, and you see them all coming to the gala in like their best gowns and stuff. But like at that point, they had this sense of like kind of like power and accomplishment of like, yeah, we've pulled this off.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of like sure of ourselves, and we've won. We're on top here.
Sure. Yeah, I think so. But also, don't forget, they also felt the need to like intersperse it with like shots of Kim Kardashian. She seemed to get an awful lot of camera time. Yeah. Like to the point where they maybe her people have said, yeah, you can get her as long as she gets X% of time in front of the camera.
So the people at the Met Gala were the Kardashians and then Heidi Klum
and Katie Holmes.
Yeah, Katie Holmes.
Yeah, good to see her. It's like, there she is. She's alive.
Did the rest of the cast just kind of feel sorry for her? And we're like, let's give Katie a wee role because she's been trapped in Scientology for the last 10 years.
She's good now. She's going out with Jamie Foxx and she's all happy. She escaped from Scientology a number of years ago. Is she married?
Or engaged at least, yeah. Maybe not. Maybe I'm jumping the gun there.
She was in a movie last year, the year before, Touch of Fire, something like that. It was on Netflix recently and it's just left actually. Never got a chance to see it. All about mental illness and stuff. But no, I'd rather have been watching that movie. This was a fine and enjoyable little movie that had a kind of, like I say, this sort of inherent watchability that was hard to deny, but not one that you'll be like looking back on in years to come, being like, man, that was a real masterpiece of filmmaking. It was just fine. The editing and the pacing of it bothered me though. It felt like there were. Did you not get this at all? Like, it felt like the scenes were kind of dragged on. Like, let's see if they do something funny. No, and it was like cut next scene. It didn't feel like they were kind of edited or directed properly. It felt kind of.
I guess it wasn't as snappy as like the other Ocean's movies.
But it kind of felt like they were holding off for like something funny to happen. It hadn't happened, so they were trying to fix it in editing by putting in like a snappy dissolve or a snappy wipe edit, and it was like, and that didn't work either. Like they were trying to fix the like a kind of awkwardness in the edit, and those bits were kind of what I was talking about earlier with the kind of cringe factor, I guess. But almost like the director was like, I cannot wait to finish this film and get to the end.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just that
it didn't occur to you.
It didn't occur to me. Yeah, exactly.
Again, I'm probably coming across super negative with all that, but I mean, like, I did not dislike this movie. So
Anne Hathaway. I don't want to talk too much about her character arc in the movie because I guess that's a kind of later thing. But how I have a kind of mixed feelings on Anne Hathaway, like, and I hope you understand what I mean when I say this. I think she's good, but I can always see that she's acting.
Oh yeah,
like she seems like a very kid. She seems like a theatre kid who went to drama school and is very like. I think she commits and she's versatile and stuff. But I can always see that even in interviews and stuff. I think she's saying that she's fake. It sounds way too harsh, but I think she's very aware of everything she does. She doesn't appear flawless and effortless.
Okay.
So even when I think, yeah, she's doing a good job here, there's just something about her that's kind of like, she stopped trying so hard.
There's an artifice.
Dial it down a wee bit.
Interesting.
And that works sometimes. Like it works in The Dark Knight Rises because her character is, that is built into her character.
She's playing a front. Yeah. But then it kind of
exactly.
works in this too because she's putting up a front and she plays an actress, a celebrity.
Yeah.
In the film.
So
it works that there should be an artifice to her character.
Yeah.
I've never picked that up with Anne Hathaway in any film I've seen her in.
And like, was there?
Do you hate women?
Also in Les Mis, I think it works because that is very dramatic and over the top and stuff.
She was sensationally good in that.
She is. A lot of that is because she's an incredible singer as well.
I'm again, like you were saying before, I'm not inherently like disagreeing with what you're saying. It's just not something I've ever picked up from any of her performances that I've seen. I've not seen every film she's ever done, but
like I liked Colossal. Did you see that movie?
Yeah, she was great in that.
She was really good in that. But
she
still,
carries most of the movie herself.
For a lot of that, she's supposed to be playing just like normal women. And and like she plays she's good at playing someone who appears to be a normal woman, but there's always that for me. It's the appearance of it.
Okay.
I can always see that she's trying.
I'm thinking of her little speech in Interstellar right now, and like for so many other like actresses that could have ruined the movie, and a lot of people did think it ruined the movie, but for me, I thought it was a wonderful moment in the movie.
Again, Interstellar, I don't know. Do you know what I mean when I say I can see she's acting?
I do know what you mean. I don't
think she disappears into the role. In the way that some of my favourite actors do.
I think she's. I don't concur with that, particularly with like something like Interstellar. I think it's probably one of my favourite Nolan films, if not my favourite one. And I think she's great in that. But this role is less. All the roles in this, I keep going back to it. They're less complex than like most other films.
Yeah, they're
kind of skin deep in a way. Is that
and again, I don't want to make it sound like I thought she was bad in this movie. I think she's good in this movie because it's playing to her strengths. Her
strengths of being a fakey fakerson.
Yeah. Like I think probably the best thing I've seen her in, where I feel like she's done a good job of appearing natural and effortless, was The Devil Wears Prada. Because I again, I don't know her, but given my opinion and impression of what Anne Hathaway's like as a person, that's the closest to what she's really like.
Okay.
A kind of a bookish, nice girl.
Okay. I've not seen The Devil Wears Prada. But
mate, it's really good.
Sure, I've heard. Is that Meryl Streep?
Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
And I guess also she's in it with Meryl Streep and Emily Blunt, who are both.
Yeah, you got to bring your A game.
Yeah.
I was going to say, strange that they wouldn't have asked Emily Blunt to be in this, but I would imagine she'd have been filming A Quiet Place at the same time.
Yeah, probably. And she should be in everything, Emily Blunt. She's fantastic.
Well, yeah, she really should be.
I love Emily Blunt.
Alright, calm down, man.
Just saying, she's absolutely my favourite female actor.
Nice.
So what else have we got?
What else do we have to talk about with Ocean's 8?
Not much, really, to be honest.
Like, who do you recommend this to?
Well, the majority of the cinema that I saw in was like older women.
Oh, that's interesting.
There was some teenagers down front who, like, it seemed like the guys were only there because the girls wanted to go.
Yeah, they were out on a date.
Yeah,
sure.
They were kind of like seemed a bit restless. They were up and down a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, mostly it was slightly older women. That
sort
were
of like middle-aged ladies. Or...
But like anyone who will like, I can't imagine anyone watching it and then being like, I hated it.
No.
However, on that note, someone on Twitter was chatting with us. Hold on, I'll pull up the thing. I should have thought of this.
As you were. Yep.
So when I tweeted out like my Letterboxd review and like said what I thought about it. The movie dude.
Who's the movie dude?
At Movie Maniac 125. I don't know who he is.
Okay.
Some Twitter guy said it was very disappointing and he didn't like it. Succinct. But then I wanted to know, does that mean that he had high expectations going in?
The word disappointing would
to say disappointed means that like
you would have some level of expectation.
Because anyone that I've heard saying they didn't like it probably thought it was going to be bad to begin with, and probably had preconceived notions about it.
Yeah, it became a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy where they just assumed it was going to be bad, so they watched it, and no matter how good it was, they just were like, nah, it's bad, because I had already made up my mind.
But to that, he said he expected it to be at least good, perhaps really good. So, but he almost fell asleep twice.
I mean, is it possible he just needed a cup of coffee or something?
Yeah, like I've definitely had that where like I'll watch a film, even if it's like a great film.
Yeah.
Like before we started, I was telling you how I had to stop watching Chinatown because it was too late at night and stuff, and I felt myself not being into it.
Sure.
And I never went back to it. So like,
I just can't see this being a kind of film that you would fall asleep at. But I suppose it takes a while to get out of first gear. It does. It's maybe the first half hour. It kind of takes a little while.
And if you're just not in the mood for it, then
sure.
It doesn't exactly blow you away.
No,
this movie.
It doesn't seem like a movie that you could have really strong feelings about though either way. So I can't see anyone hating it. I can't see anyone loving it. But like, or maybe to phrase that better, I can't see anybody like legitimately loving or hating it, like without just fake, a fake review of like they love Cate Blanchett so much that they just think the movie's amazing. Going into just thinking it's going to be amazing regardless.
Yeah.
But it's a hard one to say that it was.
Or unless someone on
garbage.
the opposite side of the kind of the social gender argument, being like, well, it was the greatest film ever because it was all women and it's about time we had all women.
Yeah, or you've got the opposite who are like, why did it have to be all women? That's disgraceful. It was rubbish. I hate women. Don't take that out of context, please. 1 out of 5.
That's going to be the new theme for the show, the new theme song.
New theme song. Just me saying I hate women again and again and again. Yep. Terrible. Shocking. So, if you get any more talking points on it, then feel free.
Nah, that's it. That's all I've got.
Cool.
I could have done without quite so many references to Danny Ocean and the events of the previous movies. Like, we get it.
I didn't really pick up on any mentions about things in the previous movies. I know she said my brother Danny Ocean a few times, and there was
there's a picture of George Clooney on a desktop. Someone's like, "Is that your brother? He's hot."
Yeah, and there's also Ross's dad from Friends. What that actor is? Elliot Gould shows up for like. They obviously got him for an afternoon or an hour. Yeah. They also got the wee guy who jumps out of the box.
That was weird. Couldn't that have also been another female member of the team? That was weird that of all the people to bring back,
it was the wee guy that could fit in the box.
Yeah.
See, I know about him because Mike's Taklasa at Red Letter Media. I think I mentioned Red Letter Media on every podcast that we do.
Well, we should have like a bingo, like Simpsons reference, Seinfeld reference, Red Letter Media, whatever else we always talk about. Like me saying I hate women. Yeah. Like, yep. Poison Chalice. Edit this part out. Yeah, Poison Chalice. Satanism, occult stuff. I know about Ocean's 11 because he often brings it up when he's talking about like how to do like a really good heist movie. Like he was talking about Rogue One and how he really didn't like Rogue One at all. Yeah. And he thought it should have been set out in a sort of Ocean's 11 type thing where you recruit people with all these different skills that you need. So yeah, that is. I agree with him 100% on that. That is what Rogue One should have been. Yeah. You should really watch Steven Soderbergh's Ocean's 11. I'll check it out. It's very good. I'm sure I've seen. Is there one with Julia Roberts and Bruce Willis? Is that the second one, Ocean's 12? Uh-huh. I worked at the cinema when that one came out, and I'm sure I've seen like sections of it. Ocean's 12. Bruce Willis plays himself in that one, and Julia Roberts plays a character who looks like Julia Roberts. Is that correct? Yeah. Part of the plan in that is that they use her because she will be mistaken for Julia Roberts, which is a funny little meta gag. I like that. Pretty silly. But Ocean 12 is widely regarded as the worst of the three. Right, okay. But do you have Sky Movies or Now TV? No. Oh. No, I subscribe to like umpteen film services though, but I'm sure it'll pop up somewhere. Yeah. iTunes were actually selling the trilogy for $9.99 for all three.
in HD recently, like as a little, tie-in to Ocean's 8 being in cinemas, which doesn't seem like a bad deal.
It's a good buy.
Yeah.
But that's all I've got to say with the film.
Sure.
So with that, let's move on to the news.
News.
Old cheeky chappy Tom Holland's been at it again.
Oh,
Can't keep his mouth shut.
another Marvel news story. What?
Honestly, these are the only ones that people report on. Like, it's hard to find one if it's not just like, there's like, there's a Sammy Davis Jr. biopic. Okay, cool, but there's nothing much to talk about with it.
I suppose. Not that there's a great deal to talk about with the title being revealed for a new
I just
film.
think it's funny that Tom
the way
Holland
they did it was funny.
Just cannot stop.
Sure, but that was an intentional, like him revealing the title was done intentionally. It was a pretend spoiler.
Are you talking about the Instagram video?
Yeah.
Okay, because there was also footage from before that where he was at a panel and someone asked him what's the name of it, and he was like, oh, hold on, I can't remember the name of it. This is like someone's like handheld in the audience.
Okay. So he's actually revealed the title previously, and now he's confirming that was the title that he'd already revealed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's called Spider-Man Far From Home.
Good title.
It's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit clunky, I think.
It'll do. It's fine. Same amount of syllables as Homecoming.
Yeah, checks out, he's right.
Yeah, they've got the marketing team on this, man. Also, Kevin Feige said it's got like double meanings. The Far From Home has two different meanings. If I'm not mistaken, the early reports from back when Avengers came out, Infinity War, was that Spider-Man Homecoming Part 2, aka Far From Home, is going to take place like right after the events of the second Avengers film. It's going to be a marketing nightmare trying to advertise Far From Home without giving away. And Sony are not going to give two hoots. They'll be like, we'll do what we want. So it could be interesting. But yeah, I mean, I think both of us really, really liked Homecoming.
Definitely.
So something to look forward to when he comes back from the ash pile.
It's been long enough to talk about that.
Yeah.
All right. I guess it's a meme now, so...
Fuck everyone else, man.
Oh dear. That is not the opinion of Cinematic for the People as an organisation. Let me just point that out.
I speak for everyone.
And here's another thing. Are you familiar with the Twitter campaign to remake The Last Jedi?
Oh, God, yeah. It's the saddest fucking thing I've ever seen, man.
It's so embarrassing.
This is... I retweeted... who was it? Pablo Hidalgo, one of the main guys at Lucasfilm, retweeted that their announcement about their quote-unquote producers that they have ready to finance $200 million worth of movie making. Yeah. And Pablo Hidalgo, I believe his tweet said... I'll have to get back to you. I'm going to have to look it up now because I want to do it justice. Well, like, it was a beautiful tweet.
Seth Rogen also got involved, like, just questioning them about
like
the obvious ludicrosity of the...
Ludicrous, I like it.
Thank you.
Ryan Johnson got involved. He tweeted and said, like, please make this happen.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar, the idea is that this anonymous group have not the backing, but like the promise of money. No one's gave them any money yet, but they have the promise of an investment from a mysterious angel investor who's willing to give, what is it, $200 million?
Apparently $200 million.
$200 million, but they need to kind of crowdfund the rest of the money, so they want people to pledge money to it.
Yeah,
Again, not give any money, just say, I am willing to do this, with the maximum being $10,000. And like,
what the hell?
Based on that, they have like all this imaginary money.
I didn't know about the Kickstarter thing for $10,000. Like,
again, it's not a Kickstarter because no one's actually giving them money. They're just saying, "Yeah, sure, I would give you this much money."
Oh, right.
And people are obviously just taking the piss.
Yeah, so they're like, "Yeah, I'll give you money. Like, I need to like give you my card details in case it all goes tits up." No. It's like, okay, cool. I'll give you all $10,000.
So, aside from the fact that they don't own it and they have no legal right to make a Star Wars movie,
they can make a fan film. Anyone can make a fan film, but they can't remake The Last Jedi. That's the thing. What they're talking about...
I don't think they can commercially release a movie called Star Wars The Last Jedi.
No, that's what I mean. Like, you can't do that. But you can still... People make Star Wars fan films. There's umpteen Star Wars fan films. They can make a Star Wars fan film, chuck it up on YouTube or Vimeo, no problem.
But surely the implication is that they will get Mark Hamill back.
Yeah, exactly, which is absurd. They can't do that.
They will get Carrie Fisher back from the dead to make this movie. And people question about this on Twitter, and they're like, "Oh, well, it'll be a challenge, but we'll make it work." And
it's laughable.
It's like, what if Disney say no? And they're like,
Well, something like this happened. These guys made this really good Star Trek fan film a few years ago, and they tried to then monetize it, and Paramount came down on them like a ton of bricks, and the whole thing collapse. It's when you start to try and get money out of it. You can make an homage, like with a fan film. As soon as you try and get money out of an intellectual property, you know, any company worth their salt is going to pursue you instantly because it sets a dangerous precedent if they don't.
Happens all the time in the gaming industry.
And in the movie industry. Lucasfilm sue people left, right and centre just because they want to make sure that they keep a firm hold of their properties and don't set dangerous precedents.
Like the amount of times there's been like a modded version of a game or whatever, or someone's made it using assets from something else as like a fun little thing, and then the owners of that IP will come out and say, look, we think it's great, we're big fans of it, but we can't let you do it because it'll open the floodgates and it'll set precedent for other people using our property.
Yeah, it's not quite like, who was it that made Doom back in the day?
What, the game studio?
Yeah.
Ed.
Back, I don't know, Ed still exists obviously, but back in the day, Ed were like, you know, yeah, here's our source code, modify the game, have fun. That's how you get like amazing mods of Doom that people now play. I think Brutal Doom is the sort of
and like
considered the
full
gold standard.
games have been born out of Doom mods.
Didn't PUBG start as a mod?
It started as I think it was a mod of
DayZ or something like that.
I get so confused because they're all kind of like come back to like Counter-Strike mods.
Sure. Well, DayZ started as a Counter-Strike mod, and then something started as a mod of that. Yeah.
But anyway, this is besides the point.
So the Star Wars thing is ridiculous. Pablo Hidalgo's tweet, by the way, he just retweeted this ridiculous remake The Last Jedi thing about our team of producers is offering to cover the budget for a remake of The Last Jedi in order to save Star Wars. Share this and spread the word, blah, blah, blah. This isn't a joke. We're ready to have the convo now. So Pablo Hidalgo's retweet just had the comment, drop the trailer at In Celebration.
That was a good one.
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. I take it people know like the word incel has now become part of the modern vernacular, right?
Yeah, if you don't know what it means, it stands for involuntarily celibate.
Yeah.
And it's a product of this whole anti-woman right-wing
movement
bullshit.
Yeah. This is like an alt-right thing where guys are essentially saying like the reason that they can't get laid is because women are bad, and they're actually perfect and women are just bad. And it's like, man, take a shower.
And the joke is that there's an annual event called Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
So it was a very funny tweet.
And we've now ruined it by
now
explaining
you
it.
understand why it's funny.
And I love that he followed it up with a reminder, I love all of you, in brackets. He's such a nice guy, Pablo Hidalgo.
Yeah, so Ryan Johnson retweeted it with a bunch of emojis saying, please, 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 please.
Please make it happen.
And then they responded to that saying, see, even the director agrees. And it's like, do you...
Did they really? They just didn't get it. It's kind of like Trump recently retweeted the Breitbart article where they took David Lynch's quote out of context.
Yeah, and then he had to write him a direct letter.
His letter was fantastic. I really hope he does get to sit down with Donald Trump and tries to explain like abstract thoughts to him and just tries to explain, or he won't explain his movies, but just maybe leaves him a copy of all of his movies. Like, watch these, then you'll understand.
He'll be like, I love the character of Frank. He was beautiful.
Oh, is that your Trump?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about Blue Velvet, in case that wasn't clear.
Of course, I love Blue Velvet, but I didn't pick it up. He would associate with all the wrong characters.
Yeah.
But, so the Star Wars thing, man, it's sort of like, it's just laughable. It's not so much newsworthy as it's just like, it sort of sums up what's wrong with fandom.
Yeah.
What's wrong with, like, people, like, latching on to these crazy, like, extremist political movements.
What especially got me about it was, part of the deal was... that to make sure that it's a true Star Wars film made by true fans who really get Star Wars, everyone who was involved would get story input.
Yeah, do they not know how a writer's room works? And the moment you get more than 3 or 4, it becomes very difficult.
Literally,
to write a movie.
art by committee is what they're going for.
Yeah, which is exactly what Star Wars never was. Like, it was Lucas's vision. It was his idea to get away from that idea of getting notes from the studio and notes from your backers and your producers. And it's like, people have gotten it all mixed up. So we just hope that they can just understand and realize the error of their ways soon enough.
I would love to see them go as far as they possibly could with this to see what they end up doing.
Like, it'll be a garbage fire. But you're right. There's like a wonderful morbid curiosity to the whole thing.
So in terms of what else we've been watching, I watched, as I promised last week...
Oh my god.
I watched the Netflix original Duncan Jones movie, Mute.
Nice. Now this is Duncan Jones, a famous director of Moon.
Uh-huh.
Source Code,
Uh-huh.
and Warcraft,
Correct.
also known as Warcraft: The Beginning in this country.
Yeah, terrible subtitle. But correct. Son of the late David Bowie, of course, as well. The movie wasn't great. Like I said, I wish you had seen it because there's a big discussion to be had about it.
I've heard quite a few things about it. Don't feel free to just spoil away. I don't care. Like if there's anything you want to talk about.
So the premise is, and again, this is a Netflix original, so they fully funded it.
Right from the ground up. This one. This wasn't one they bought at a festival. This is one they gave him the money right off.
Their thing is to not interfere, give directors full control.
Yep, full carte blanche to do what they want.
And this is the result of that. It's the premise is there's a guy who's in an accident as a child, and he can't speak. The reason being that he comes from an Amish family, and in order to save him and save his ability to speak, he would need to get surgery, which goes against the beliefs of the Amish. So his parents didn't allow that, so he grows up unable to speak,
and probably with some kind of resentment towards his parents, I would imagine.
It's not touched upon.
Okay, good.
So
First red flag.
So that's
big
the
emotional moment not touched upon.
He's Amish, but it's also set in the near future or the far future. I guess.
Berlin, right?
And I guess neo-noir Berlin.
Sure.
The whole, so the Amish thing seems like it's just an excuse for him to conceivably not be able to speak.
Yeah, it seems kind of clumsy.
A lot of that seems like it was reverse engineered, where he had these cool ideas and then worked backwards from them.
Sure.
To try and have a justification for it. That seems like the whole movie to me. And it also kind of seems like a bad adaptation of a really dense novel, and that there's a lot of little things that are peppered through it as kind of that fill out the story of the world and the universe that it's set in and stuff. But it all happened very conveniently right before it's necessary for an important plot thing to happen.
Okay.
It all feels kind of, again, he had the story, then as they were making it, they were like, okay, but this hasn't been set up yet. Okay, well, let's go back 5 minutes and put in a little thing that'll explain that. That kind of happens a lot.
Was it written and directed by Duncan Jones?
Yeah.
Do you feel like maybe he would have benefited from writing with somebody else, or has he ever written with somebody else? He must have done for the Warcraft movie. There's no way Blizzard would have just let one person write that. But
I feel like it could have been...
I say that, but Lucasfilm let one person write episode 8.
True.
So, you never know.
Yeah, who knows in this crazy world. So the crux of it is it's a neo-noir sci-fi kind of detective mystery.
Yeah, it looked kind of like a Blade Runner, very, very heavily inspired by Blade Runner.
Yeah, but it never reaches those heights. It's neo-noir and on the surface level only, really, because a lot of it it looks a bit cheap and a bit like someone trying to make Blade Runner, but just making it dark and neon doesn't make it cyberpunk and futuristic.
Sure, it doesn't quite have the know-how or the resources or the team to kind of get that look.
And a lot of it seems, like I said, the fact that he's Amish in a futuristic world, that could be cool if you explored that, if that was the whole point of the movie.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of window dressing for it.
It's interesting to think that the Amish still exist in a world that is this kind of strange kind of noir neo future, like you say.
Yeah, that would be cool if that was explored a bit more. So the thing is, his kind of girlfriend goes missing and he has to try and find her. And there's these two other characters played by Paul Rudd and Justin Theroux, who are absolutely the best stuff in the movie. They're really good in it.
Am I right in saying that one of them is a paedophile in the movie?
Yeah.
A lot of people have had problems with that.
I don't want to talk too much about it, but that definitely comes up. Okay. And again, that seems like...
I heard it's not dealt with in a way that is in any way satisfactory.
No, none of it is. None of it's dealt with satisfactorily. It's all okay, well, we need him to be bad for some reason. What's the worst thing if we make him? Pedophile.
Really?
Kind of.
It kind of cheapens. That's not nice.
But those two are really good in it. So Paul Rudd's story is that he...
Who plays the lead guy? Is it Alexander Skarsgård?
Yes.
See, I quite liked him, I liked him a lot in True Blood, but he's never struck me as a big movie actor.
Well, he's silent for the whole movie. He just needs to look brooding and stuff.
He needs to emote, though. Does he emote at all?
No. To the point where I was wondering if he was impaired in some way mentally. If that was the intention of the character. Yeah,
or if
yeah,
it's
totally.
just that he can't act.
No, not the actor. Like, it's never clear whether or not that's, like, part of his character or not, because he's just, like, a bit... Like, everyone talks about him like he's an idiot, and you're like, is he an idiot?
But then I wouldn't be surprised to hear from people who have that kind of affliction, who are mute or who are deaf. People probably do speak to them like they're idiots.
Yeah.
That's probably fairly accurate.
But he also has, like, a really bad temper. He flies off the handle sometimes, which makes you think maybe he is a bit emotionally stunted.
Okay, interesting.
It kind of reminded me of a bit like Leon from The Professional.
Yeah.
Oh wait, his name's Leo in it? Maybe that was intentional.
His name is Leo in Mute.
Leo, yeah. In the movie.
Might have been a little nod to that.
If Leon was mute, I guess. So Paul Rudd's character is, he was in the US Army, and he met a woman that had a kid, and so, like, abandoned, went AWOL, and is kind of laying low in Berlin, because obviously he's wanted by the US government because he's a deserter.
Sure.
And his thing is that he wants to get illegal passports and documentation stuff so he can get back home with his kid and kind of leave all that behind. But in the meantime, he's working, because he was an army medic, so he's working as a doctor / torturer for, like, the underground mob scene in Berlin.
What?
There's a lot going on in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, and all the individual little strands are quite interesting, but you throw them all together and then don't explore any of them.
Sure.
Satisfying in a satisfying way.
Does it seem to you, like, I know this has apparently been Duncan Jones' like kind of dream project.
There it is, folks.
There is a delivery.
There's the buzzer.
Start playing the hold music. Hello.
Okay, we're back. Andy has his Blu-ray. All is good. Delivery went successfully.
All is good with the world. My point that I was just wanting to ask you was,
Yes.
does it seem like Duncan Jones had this grand idea for this kind of dystopian future world in his head and all these kind of different scenarios, and actually would have been better if he'd sat down and developed it with somebody, maybe even turned it into like a series, like with all these little strands and little stories kind of coming together?
Yeah, or either that, explore them all more thoroughly in a long form thing, or pick one
and focus on that. Yeah.
Because like, if you watch Blade Runner, it's a very simple story.
Yeah.
But you get the sense that the world is a lot deeper and a lot more vast.
Sure.
By, you know, like the set design and like just the way the characters will talk about the world, like.
Yeah, it's like Blade Runner is basically like a kind of old Bogart noir film, but just with a different window dressing, different mise en scène. Perfect.
So this doesn't really have that kind of noir feel to it, I don't think.
It's got it sounds like they basically thought, if we can make it look like Blade Runner, it'll be successful.
Yeah, a wee bit. But also, there was nothing in the movie for me that warranted it being set in the future.
Right.
They don't make use of any interesting tech or anything like that. Like, it would be worthwhile if they explored the idea of an Amish person in a tech future.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because we know that Amish people don't like embrace technology. That's part of their thing.
So that would be interesting, and you know, investigating the whole that whole side of it, like because Amish isn't a religion, is it? It's just a way of life, right?
Yeah, I think so. I must plead sort of ignorance here, though.
I don't know why I started down
I think it's just a type of Christianity, in the same way that Baptists are Christians or Mormons, you know. Yeah. Well, no, Hasidic Jews are Jewish.
No, I mean, yeah, obviously.
Oh, I see what you're going for, right? So it sounds like it's kind of not that great.
No.
What would you rather watch again, Mute or Ocean's 8? Because you rated Ocean's 8 3, and you said to me you would probably rate Mute a 2.
That's true. But I think I got everything I need to get from Ocean's 8 on the first viewing. Whereas there might be more in Mute to watch a second time.
Yeah, you feel like there's something to dig for there.
Maybe, yeah. But then maybe that's me wanting it to be better than it is.
Yeah, because I liked Moon a great deal, his first film.
Oh, also, if you like that, This is set within the same
in the same universe. Apparently,
the Invisible Mooniverse.
Is that what they call it, or are you coining that?
That's an original.
That is an Alan Kerr original, folks.
That's right.
Patent pending.
But that's done really ham-fistedly.
Okay.
Like Sam Rockwell has a cameo on the TV, and it's like the camera stays on it for way too long to be like, hey everyone, remember Moon? And then you think, okay, well they did it once, way too much, but they've got it over and done with. But then you see his face pop up a few more times, and there's a bit more references to it. And it's like, we get it.
Okay.
We get it.
It's a shame. Sounds a little ham-fisted, the whole thing.
Correct.
But I like to see what Netflix are doing with my subscription money. I like to see what they do with their original movies, so I'm always curious. Even, we were talking about Netflix a couple of weeks ago, was it? And we didn't really go as deep into it as I would have liked with some discussion on all of the movies. I think particularly because I had watched so many more than you had, so I didn't want to be like, here's the 6 million Netflix movies I've seen.
Yeah.
But I remember that one Death Note that came out.
The live action
remake
adaptation of the anime.
Yeah, and it got absolutely shat on because everyone was like, "Oh, it's not like the anime. It's not like the anime." Now I had no affiliation with the anime, no history with it. But for me, that was a perfectly serviceable little kind of fun, original film that was perfectly suited for that medium to be a Netflix original. I think it was directed by Adam Wingard as well, the guy that did The Guest and You're Next.
All right.
A good director.
Yeah.
And it was a fine little film. It was just fine, but. To me, I don't mind checking out a bunch of these kind of possibly not going to be brilliant Netflix movies, because you just find those little diamonds in the rough, or even if you don't, there's a sort of watchability. I've used that term so many times today, but there is a kind of watchability to them all, or to a lot of them.
I would still recommend to you specifically to watch Mute and have an opinion of it, because I thought it was watchable.
Sure.
It was never boring. I think that's the worst thing a movie can be.
Yeah.
It's boring.
Yeah.
But the whole way through, you're thinking, this could be better, that could have been done better. That's good, but it's ruined by this. Like I said, Paul Rudd and Justin Theroux are very good in it.
Okay.
Also, there seems to be no reason why he has to be mute either. It doesn't really play in the story in a big way.
Style over substance again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll check it out when at some point when I do another Netflix binge, which I did recently.
Also with sci-fi, especially when it's, I understand if you want a kind of a noir detective thing, a lot of it will be quite claustrophobic and low to the ground and stuff.
Yeah.
To give that kind of foreboding, one guy in a seedy underground type setting.
Yeah.
But when you have big sci-fi landscapes and cityscapes, sometimes a nice wide shot, a nice kind of swooping crane shot or something looks good, but a lot of this is very, very
limited.
The most generic shots, the most kind of obvious default shots you would get, shot from the waist up, square in the center of the frame.
Right. Just very flat then.
Yeah.
Is that maybe a budget thing again?
Maybe.
We don't have a budget to show a big cityscape. We just have one street that we've built in this set. We need to keep it kind of limited. Yeah.
But again, no real sense of depth
to
any of the shots or anything.
Any idea what the budget was for it?
No, I couldn't tell you.
Curious. Netflix are funny. They keep their cards close to their chest with this kind of stuff. Not a clue. I've looked it up online. Can't seem to. I don't know.
But anyway, we've got about just over 10 minutes left. What else have you seen this week?
Well, you've got a list there of all the stuff I've seen. Is there anything in particular that you want to go into?
You saw a lucky advance preview of The Incredibles 2. We'll talk about that on his own episode, I'm sure, when the time comes.
It was pretty cool, though, I must say, just to throw in, to go to a secret screening. I think last week I was heading to it right after the podcast, and I wasn't too sure what it was going to be, but it turned out to be Incredibles 2. Very excited in the theatre for that, because everybody, when the BBFC card comes up at the start, that's when you know what it's going to be.
Yeah. And
I've never been at one where people started cheering just when they saw PG Incredibles 2.
Yeah.
And then also we got the lovely little short film before it, which Pixar just do some great shorts.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'll talk about it obviously in detail in a month when it comes out.
Yeah.
It's a super cool coup for Cineworld to get that, though.
Yeah, hopefully someone does the same with that, man, because I got to see it.
It comes out very soon in America.
Yeah,
next week. The premiere was last night or the night before.
Yeah, so within a week, I think.
Yeah, we're another 5-6 weeks or something like that.
Yeah.
Good old World Cup, though. I've been enjoying it fine. I don't have a license here to watch it, so I hardly ever watch it. But when I go to my parents, I watch it.
Anyway, let's not talk about the World Cup.
It's fine. World Cup, lots of teams coming together, fans having a good time from all over the world, Alan. It's a cultural celebration, and it means that we can just wait even longer for those Marvel movies.
That's enough of that. Anything else that you saw that particularly jumps out that you want to?
I finally got to check off The Night of the Hunter off of my watch list. It's been on there for like 10 years. I've wanted to watch this film. I've got like a sizable watch list and I just never got around to it. I think it's one of those that's held with such high regard that you kind of want to make sure the circumstances are right before you watch it. You don't want to put on like the first time you watch Citizen Kane, you don't want to watch it when you're in a bad mood because it's like, this is meant to be like one of the best of all time. I should make sure conditions are prime. So ended up, a friend came round and we just chucked it on because he decided to, and I was like, oh shit, I'm finally getting around to watch Night of the Hunter, and that was that, and it was absolutely incredible, one of the best films I've ever seen in my life, and it's really interesting to think that when it came out nobody liked it, because it's just one of those films like a Vertigo, and it's spoken about in those same kind of tones. But when it came out, it was a total flop. It was so ahead of its time. People just thought it was I imagine people thought it was boring or didn't, because it wasn't a fast-moving film, or they just didn't get it. It's a very modern in its approach. It's one of the most stunningly photographed films I've ever seen in terms of the cinematography. The lighting is beautiful. And it's the only film Charles Laughton ever directed. Came out in 1955. He was one of the very first method actors. Hitchcock notoriously hated working with him. He loved him as a person, but he hated working with him because it would take like an entire morning to get one close-up. So, he directed a film. It is very Hitchcockian in its style, in that it was ahead of its time. It utilises suspense and tension in the same kind of way. Robert Mitchum is insanely good as this kind of insane, murderous, travelling preacher who defrauds widows out of their money and then murders them. He's so iconic. You'll have seen the character with love and hate tattooed on his knuckles.
Is this where that comes from?
Yeah, man. A lot of Simpsons stuff in there as well. Like a lot of things that I spotted where it's like, now I finally get that Simpsons reference and that one and that one. So yeah, it was brilliant. And considering that a lot of the film is basically two child actors, like a brother and sister, like incredibly well directed. Because it's so difficult to get good performances out of kids, especially in the 50s. There wouldn't have been the crop of talent that there is now with young kid actors. So no, that was brilliant, man. I mean, I called it in my Letterboxd review a practically flawless motion picture. I stand by it. 5 out of 5 all day long. And I'm guessing by like your lack of words that you have not seen it.
I've not seen it, correct.
But I would highly, highly recommend it.
Cool.
Stunning film. I watched a bunch of other stuff, but that one really stands out for me. And that was just a friend's pick. He brought it around on DVD. We kind of show each other a film each. One of us has seen and one of us hasn't. So
that's a good system.
Yeah. I picked Waiting for Guffman, which is one I watched a few weeks ago. Christopher Guest mockumentary.
I've not seen that either.
It's a good laugh. It's total light-hearted nonsense, but it's a great laugh. And then he was like, here's one of the best films of all time. So.
And you alluded to this at the start of the show. You went to a kids' screening of Moana with your nephew.
Yeah. My nephew and my brother, his dad. Mm-hmm. Yep. It was great. You've seen Moana, yeah?
I've not, no.
What? Right, you need to see The Night of the Hunter and Moana, possibly back to back as part of a double feature.
Okay.
One about a man who is chasing after children with a knife, and one is The Night of the Hunter. No, I'm only kidding. Moana was great, man. I've seen it a few times. I love it. It's such a feel-good film. The music in it is so good. My friend Ruth, actually, when we were at our Seinfeld brunch at Serenity Now, told me that Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote a lot of the music for it and is one of the voice actors for Moana's father. I didn't realise this. That's the guy who's behind Hamilton.
Yeah. Didn't he write all the music for it?
Perhaps, yeah. I might be misquoting her, yeah. So
yeah.
I didn't realise, like, she's really into her musicals and stuff, but the music in it is just stunning. And my nephew absolutely loved it. He'd only seen little clips on YouTube and stuff, like the Disney put up, like, highlights the songs and stuff like that. So he loved it. When they started showing the short at the beginning, Disney had a little short before Moana called Inner Workings, which is a lovely little short. He shouted out, "I don't like this advert, Andrew. I want to see Moana on the big television." So like he was quite keen. And And yeah, all the kids in the place were so well behaved. I think I said at the start, like the amount of adults that when you go to the cinema that will ruin a film or try their best to ruin a film by just talking throughout it. And there's like all these kids of the ages of like 2 to 5 that were just silent. It kind of stunned me, but it was brilliant.
You don't get Uncle Andrew?
Yeah, but he tends to just call me. He's not got the D down yet. He calls me Andrew. But I don't tend to get Unky or Uncle Andrew. My brother tried to implement Unky Andy at one point, like Unky Herb from The Simpsons. Didn't seem to happen. But it's all good. We had a great time. We had a great day out. So hopefully doing it again sometime.
Cool. Next week in the cinemas, we have Adrift, which you're missing chores for. It's Shailene Woodley and the guy from
that guy from that thing.
Was it the Hunger Games?
Jeez, man, you're asking me. I'm looking it up on Letterboxd right now.
Sam Claflin is in
Well
this.
done.
I don't know what he was in though, but I definitely recognise his face.
Sam Claflin playing Richard Sharp, who was also in The Hunger Games.
I knew it!
Me Before You, Snow White and the Huntsman, Their Finest. That was a great movie. My Cousin Rachel, that was another great movie. I've seen him in things I didn't realise.
So yeah, they go on a sailing trip from somewhere to California, I think.
I don't even know they're going on a sailing trip. I think they might just be delivering a boat to somebody at the other side of the world.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, by sailing it.
Sure, they're not like, hoity-toity off on a sailing trip. They're just
and
like a young couple.
They run afoul of a storm.
Indeed.
And,
if you've seen the trailer, it's a very lengthy trailer that shows the entire movie.
What else have we got?
Well, what are you interested in? There's so many.
The topic next week is going to be Sicario 2 Soldado, which I'm not sure about. Like, the original one was Denis Villeneuve, so it was stylish as fuck and incredibly tense.
Yeah.
It had Emily Blunt in it, so that's a bonus.
It was an amazing film. The first Sicario movie. They did not need a sequel, but some studio has thought we can turn this into a franchise.
Yeah, very strange. So Denis Villeneuve is not involved.
He's given it his thumbs up though. Yeah. He said he thought it was brilliant, but I wonder how much of a dump truck of money they drove up to his house to say that, because the reviews are very mixed.
Emily Blunt's character is no longer in the picture. It's Benicio del Toro and Thanos.
Yeah,
back together again. The Collector and Thanos.
Yep.
So we'll see how that goes.
I'm seeing it tonight.
Tag, a comedy ostensibly based on a true story.
Yeah, based on a true story, which is interesting.
A group of friends who have had a long-running game of tag.
Or TIG, as we tend to call it in Scotland, right?
For like 30 years or whatever.
Yeah, they just do it for is it 1 week or 1 day out of the year? I think it's 1 week out of the year.
I think it's a week, yeah.
They do it, and there's one friend who has never been it, which is
played by
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah. Hawkeye himself.
And I believe, listen to you, man, the Marvel Extended Cinematic Universe now. I believe his arms are going to be CG'd for a lot of it because he broke both of his arms in production.
Yeah.
That'll be really interesting to spot the crazy CG job they're going to do.
I mean, he's fought Chitauri invaders and,
he's been the arrow
all
guy.
sorts,
yeah.
And he breaks his arms playing TIG.
Yep. So you can tell us what you thought of it next week now that you've brought it up. Because I wouldn't
have to see it.
Means you have to see it.
There's a couple of Netflix things coming out. Do you want to tell us about the more interesting ones of them?
Yeah, there's a documentary coming out from the lady who did Heroin, which is a short documentary.
The lady who did Heroin.
Oh yeah, soundbite that one. So she got a lot of attention for that last year. That was a really good short documentary. Got Oscar noms, possibly a win. I'm not 100% sure. Look at me, man, hopping between all these different tabs here. So the 2 narrative films that are coming out on Netflix tomorrow, I think both sound pretty interesting. One is called Calibre, which is about 2 friends who go to an isolated Scottish village in the Highlands for a weekend hunting trip. And according to the synopsis, nothing could prepare them for what follows.
How nice and vague.
Sounds interesting. And there's another thriller with a science fiction vibe called Tau. Synopsis says, held captive in a futuristic smart house, a woman hopes to escape by befriending the AI program that controls the house. So that sounds to me like the AI program turns against her and she's trying to make it come back around and help her.
I took it to be that she's imprisoned by people who are unaware of how smart the house is, and she befriends the house to try and help her.
I think that is not correct, but I'm not
We'll
sure.
see.
We're both probably going to watch this, aren't we?
I wouldn't mind watching it, yeah.
So ridiculous, but also it could be like ridiculous or sublime. I don't think it's a premise like that is so strange and interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to check that one out. So yeah, a couple of those sound cool. There's a whole bunch of stuff out at the cinema, but yeah, we're not going to just sit and read out everything. It's all available on your local interwebs.
So like we said, next week we'll be talking about Sicario 2 and perhaps a lot more. If you want to get in touch with us, you can find us on Twitter at cinematicpod or email us at cftppod@gmail.com. Our actual website is cinematicforthepeople.podbean.com.
Yep.
I don't know if anyone actually goes directly to that source for downloads and stuff, but
I do.
but it's there. Also, the episodes are on YouTube as well. If you want to check them out and see a static image of the episode art for slightly over an hour. That's what the video contains.
You're doing a very, very good sales job here.
You want to find me, I am Super Disco Bacon on Twitter and on letterboxd.com, where you can read all my extensive reviews.
And I'm the Technogoat on Twitter and Technogoat on letterboxd.com, where you can read my reviews of however many films I can cram in a week, although this sunshine has not been conducive to much film watching. What are you doing in the following week, man?
I've got my friend's wedding on Friday, as I mentioned at the start of the show.
Sounds
so
delightful.
if I survive that,
Yeah, the sweaty wedding of doom.
then it'll be back on the job hunt. So again,
Nice.
nice little another call out to the people.
Anyone want to hire or sponsor this man? Anyone want to give this man a Casper mattress sponsorship?
Yep. What about yourself?
Well, before I go into me, I have to sell that movie Tau to you, because when you were just rounding up there, I guess who plays Tau? I guess Tau must be the AI.
house?
Yeah. Guess who it is? I'm selling this to you with this. I'm sure you're going to watch it.
Peter Serafinowicz.
Good guess, but no.
Oh, who?
Gary Oldman.
Oh, yeah. Also
Yeah.
good, yeah.
And Ed Skrein is a guy called Alex. I don't know, but Gary Oldman plays him. Anyway, what am I doing next week, man? I am... Well, the main thing is seeing Sicario 2 early by a few days. Tonight, I actually took notes because I can never remember what I'm doing. It's like, I was going to do some stuff. Dinner, movie night with friends tomorrow. We're going to watch Grave of the Fireflies.
Fun.
Have you seen it?
No.
It's one of my favourite movies, but they'd never seen it. So I'm like, bring tissues, and I'm getting dinner cooked for me, so I'll be crying all over my dinner. Birthday dinner on Saturday night for my good
Happy
self.
birthday, Andrew.
Thanks, Alan. Going to the Hanoi Bike Shop, one of the best restaurants in Glasgow, I think. I love it. Not a fan?
Wasn't blown away by it.
My God, man. Heresy. Cut this part out. And then GFT on Sunday to see The Lady Vanishes, which is my favourite Hitchcock British film. One of the last ones he did before he went to America. Going with my friend Uzma to see that. And also very keen to check out those 2 Netflix movies, so that should be plenty to keep me busy for the week.
I should have mentioned, I also have been watching season 2 of Luke Cage on Netflix.
Oh yeah?
Which so far I'm enjoying more than the first season.
Okay.
I'll maybe talk a bit about that once I've watched the whole thing.
Sure.
Probably by next Wednesday.
You've caught me off guard there, because I've never watched a single one of the Netflix TV shows on... or Netflix shows on Netflix.
The Marvel shows, you mean?
Yeah, is that what I meant? Yeah, the Marvel Netflix universe, or whatever, Jessica Jones and...
You're missing out. On the whole, they're very good.
Yeah, my friends Donald and Fiona tell me that The Punisher is really good. They loved that, and they also loved Luke Cage. And I think they also really liked, what was the first one? Daredevil.
Both seasons of Daredevil are great. First season of Jessica Jones is probably the best.
Okay. Iron Fist.
It's fine. It's just not up to the caliber of the other ones.
Fair enough. So,
but anyway,
yeah.
That leads us to the end of the show.
Indeed.
Thanks for listening. Come back next week for all this and more.
Bye.
Feels so funky. Feels so funky.